So at the reading of Jasher, Jah turned men into elephants and apes at the Tower of Babel. So Adonai smote the three divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works and designs. Those that said we will ascend into heavens and serve our gods became like apes and elephants. And those who said we would smite the heavens with arrows, Adonai killed them. One man threw the hand of his neighbor, and the third division of those who said, we will ascend into heaven and fight against him. Adonai scattered them throughout the earth. Apes and elephants. You ever notice how India has many gods, including monkey gods? And how elephants are also a sacred symbol in Hindu and Buddhist religions. How come the serpent became a god in India? Because they also worship the snake. India is well known for its snake charmers. You notice he's holding a trident, right? So in the reading of the first book of Adam and Eve, it tells you how the serpent was cast into India, and a wind came to blow from heaven by command of Yah that carried away the serpent from Adam and Eve, threw in the seashore, and it landed in India. Remember, seashore. So I covered this in past videos. So Kamala Harris will be the first female president. Biden will be removed and she will come into power and become the first female president. She will be bringing Obama with her, who eventually will take over as the last pharaoh in America. Kamala Harris is a graduate of the Divine Nine, the Boulets, the Church of Philadelphia, and the reading of Revelation 3:9. I also posted this video on YouTube on the Heavens to Light too. A message to Jacob, let's cut them off from being a nation. In the video, it explains how their plan is to mix the black community and the Jewish community together to pair them up. And in the scriptures, we were commanded not to mix with the Canaanites, not to marry into them. As you can see, Prince Hall himself was mixed, right, with Jewish and black. How else would they multiply in numbers, right? I worked as an assistant pattern maker when I was younger, and we had a huge Jewish clientele. And I remember that they couldn't mix with anybody else. If they married outside their race, they were cut off. In fact, I was told that they did some kind of a funeral service and pronounced them dead to the family. But now it's heavily pushed. Because once you marry into one of these Canaanites, your children will not be saved. So keep that in mind. So Kamala Harris' husband happens to be Jewish. Mixed couple. And notice how Obama himself is mixed, right? Kamala Devi Harris' mother is Indian. And she's named after the goddess Kamala Devi, who happens to be illustrated with what? Elephants. Just like in the Tower of Babel, the goddess Kamala Devi. Nothing is by coincidence. You see, her name is Kamala Devi, like the goddess. Let's not forget the statue of Shiva the Destroyer sitting outside CERN. So in this reading, they're trying to entice our men. And when they looked at the daughters of Cain, at the beautiful figures, and at their hands and feet dyed with color. And that's exactly what they do. They hand on tattoos, right? Their hands and feet. The ancient Egyptian mummified hand of a princess with henna-stained fingers. Because this is to the people that keep on following all this Egyptian mythology with the whole Anunnakis. As you can see, Egyptian Book of the Dead, they work with the dead. There's a Book of the Dead and there's a Book of Life. Like there is a God of the dead and there's a God of the living. So let's not mistake them. So if you're worshiping all this Egyptian mythology, you're working with the Book of the Dead and the God of the dead. And you will be cut off of the holy book. You will be cut off of the Book of the living. For the names should be blotted out of life and out of the holy books. So keep that in mind. So back to India. You notice that also the cow is sacred in India. And how the bull is affiliated with Baal worship. And they're also sun worshippers. As for the Vatican resembles their building, I'm not too sure how to pronounce this, Sheba Ligman, because the Vatican itself is sun worshippers. And let's not forget the Kama Sutra. They're known for the Kama Sutra, right? All the sexual positions. And all these pagan cultures worship the fertility god. It's all about sex with them. They wrote the book on sex. Who do you think gave them that knowledge? Also, you notice how they shave their heads in these temples, these hair temples? They're dedicated to their gods. and then they come and sell it throughout the whole world. And that becomes your crown when you put it on your head. That was dedicated to these principalities. And you wonder why you can't be delivered. And speaking of crowns, leads me to yoga, because we're not supposed to copy the world. Yoga is Sanskrit for root, or to join together, union. It refers to the state of union or communion with God. One's true self or higher power. There you go. Making yourself into a God again. So the God they're referring to is not the one that we serve, not the Most High, because they worship the serpent. So yoga is yoking yourself to the serpent as it works itself up your spine and it goes onto your head, your crown, and it becomes your head.
I got into the practice of yoga, and I was like, this is great. The physical benefits benefited me right away. I could hoop better. I could jump again. I was lasting in the basketball court longer than the people my age, and I was like, my athleticism kept itself. So I started practicing yoga just at gyms. And then someone said, hey, go to a private studio. But once I went to the private yoga studio, you really started learning about the actual ancient science of yoga. Like yoga is to yoga. Yes. Essentially, you can't separate Hinduism from yoga, and you can't separate yoga from Hinduism. In short, all the positions in yoga are worship positions of Hindu deities. So all those years, you're bowing down and giving yourself up to these different lords and these different gods. And I'm not going to say their names right now because thank you to the Lord, I keep them at my footstool these days. So that had me already open, accepting, free, floating around, especially in Los Angeles. Like it's normal culture out here. Everything is new age.
I tell you. Now, so those water spirits have the water spirits have a kingdom, amen. And the kingdom is, they say that the main kingdom is in India, amen. And in the Indian Ocean, there's kingdoms throughout the seas, but the main one is in the Indian Ocean, and the ruler spirit there is called the Queen of the India, or Queen of the Sea. It's actually, they believe it's a fallen angel. It's not an actual demon, but a fallen angel. Amen. That is actually over that. Now,
Remember how I started the video on the book of Adam and Eve? They jogged through it on the seashore and it landed in India. And like manners of the spirits of the water and of the wind, the marine kingdom. And again, Jacob, we're not to copy the world and anything that has to do with paganism.